I've gone through some personal stuff. I've given up the drinking, and that's kind of been a real real eye opener for me, because
Very, very excited to have one of Australian soccer's icons in Archie Thompson with us today. I feel like I'm really excited about this because I feel like I've seen you a lot, but I don't know a whole heap about your whole journey.
Yes.
And even doing a little bit of the research and so forth, I found it a really intriguing story. So I'm looking forward to digging into a little bit of that, and the journey and the lessons that you've learnt along the journey. Mum from Papua New Guinea.
Yeah.
Dad, New Zealand.
Yeah.
Born in New Zealand. Moved to Albury Wodonga or Australia when you were 5 weeks old?
5 weeks old, yeah.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. So that's me in a nutshell. And no, look, I think, I was 5 weeks old when I came to Sydney, first of all. And then with my dad's work, so he used to work in the mines, and then became later an electrician. Well, I don't know if he was an electrician then, but so we moved a lot with his work. First came to, I think it was Liverpool and Sydney. Then we were in the Blue Mountains, Lithgow. Then Albury Wodonga, then Bathurst. Then I made my way to Melbourne. To Gippsland to start my professional career. But yeah, I've basically grown most of my life up in the country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Brothers, sisters, so 3 brothers, 2 sisters, 3 half brothers.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Good.
So at what
Good
stage of your life did the half brothers come along?
Probably around. I'm trying to think how old Ben is now. It's probably when I was in my early 20s.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't kind of spend too much time. I even probably didn't spend too much time with my brothers and sisters, because, when you go on your professional career and journey, and they were in the country, and they were all sort of scattered around Australia. One was in Sydney, Bathurst, Albury Wodonga. So, you don't tend to spend too much time, especially when you got your own young family. And then, obviously with my, I won't say half brothers, my brothers, didn't sort of spend too much time with them. Only sort of later we kind of see each other maybe at Christmas and catch up. But we're just that type of family that we don't need to spend a whole heap of time with each other just to know that we're there for each other. Yeah, and love each other. And everyone that's kind of being introduced to our family see it, especially with my brother, my 3 brothers and 2 sisters, my immediate family, that we're all very, very close.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful. We always just kind of, we have a group chat. No one kind of penetrates that we bag our partners, we bag our kids, and mum and dad. So that stays in our WhatsApp group. But we just got this beautiful love that I think. And we find it really strange, actually, sometimes when we see brothers or other brothers and sisters or other family members from other families fighting.
Yeah.
Because we might have
a disagreement.
Yeah, have a disagreement, but we might say it to our partners about them, but it's quickly gone. But I'm very blessed that I have a very close family.
I've always been intrigued or envious of Islander culture.
Yes.
Do you think that helps with the relationship you do share with your sisters and maybe your parents? Or is it just something that's evolved over time through, the sacrifices maybe they had to make for you to go on and do what you did in your professional soccer career?
Yeah, I don't know if it was just because we're just being so close in age and being always around each other. And we've always been... I guess really close, and also too with sport and football, particularly football, because we all played it.
Yeah.
Mum, my dad, my brothers and sisters. So for me, I don't know if I'm even answering your question, but I think
it was the connector.
Yeah. Yes. And so I don't know if if it was because my mum's side of the family too, and because my dad's a white Kiwi, so like, and he comes from quite a big family. I don't know, like if it just seemed to just happen. Like it might be just our generation. I don't know if the generations from my family side, their ancestral side from my dad's or my mum's, that they were really close. I know my mum was taken from her family when she was quite young, and kind of almost like that. You would say that's stolen generation. Different circumstances, but same sort of trauma. So I don't know if she really ever got to learn too much about her culture and that kind of, that island kind of, how I'm envious of it too, because I see it very close. But it might be that we have a bit of that. But we just kind of have grown up with each other. We've played sport together. My early days or memories of my family was jumping in the Ford Falcon and going to football and spending all of our weekends together. Yeah. So, like, I guess that's kind of where our closeness comes. I don't. It might be a touch of that island, but I don't know.
You have a great relationship with your mum?
Yes. Yeah.
Have you ever gone into depth about that experience for her? Or is it something that's kind of unspoken?
It's
just known and it's just there.
Yeah. Like, do you mean?
Well, I assume there's an element of trauma or pain that comes with missing part of maybe who you are or where you're from.
100%. I like we all, I've had a lot of I guess work on this sort of thing, because I'm like, we're all spiritual, but I have this real connection to spiritual stuff. I have my healings. I do my Reiki. I've done a lot of ancestral healings and stuff like that. So
has there been particular moments in your life where you've called on that kind of spiritual healing the most?
Well, probably in the last couple of years, I've really had a stronger connection to it. I think.
And is that because of specific moments, or is it just you've matured and
moments? I think I've always had this feeling that there was something out there more than what's going on, like a deeper and then through my relationships, I've been able to kind of be thrown into that sort of world a little bit, and it just gets stronger and stronger. So that's kind of, I've learned a lot from that, and I've learned a lot from that. We take a lot of things on from traumas that maybe our mum or our dads our dad has kind of had throughout their life, and their mum and dad and their mum and dad. So we carry all those sort of little traumas and the baggage, and we have the opportunity to heal those things. Yeah. I with my mum being taken away from her home and sort of brought to Australia, I felt like for myself there was something always missing, and it's only this year that I've come back.
How did that show up in your life? Like, have you got to that depth where it's like, was it a reluctancy to fully engage in a relationship, or was it like, did you have a barrier up in some part of your life?
Well, I think it was because of my...
I love this stuff.
Yeah. No, I can tell. I think with my mum, it was like, because she was this little Papua New Guinea woman, dark skin, coming to Australia, not knowing anything about the culture here, and then trying to fit in, and especially too, because we've grown up in a lot of country towns, especially Wodonga, where it felt like that she was the only dark woman there, like, and I didn't really kind of see the differences in the color of skin or like, with friends and stuff, and I've said this before, that I really felt it the first time I felt the color of my skin was in a class, year 3, I think it was grade 3 or grade grade 2 or grade 3, where we were having a lesson on history, and it was this Aboriginal guy in a book. He was sort of standing on a hill, half naked, and then some kids started making fun of me, and that's when I knew, whoa, that's when I felt that I felt different. And that's when I started to kind of go, okay, like my skin's like different to this. My mum's different.
So you had some curiosity to actually understand that.
Yeah. But I didn't know it. Like I just felt this uncomfortable feeling around it, and I was a bit embarrassed about my mum coming to school because of the color of her skin and because of that moment. So then that kind of, I just felt uncomfortable in a lot of things, and maybe it was that my mum. I felt that because my mum felt that, she felt maybe that she wasn't, like she didn't belong, or she just wasn't home. And that's why I think I've kind of felt like that a lot of my life is just, okay, where do I belong? Where do I kind of fit in this world? And then I actually, a couple of months ago, went back to Papua New Guinea because that's where I felt like there was a big pull to go to country because of that healing and feeling like I belong somewhere and kind of seeing that. And I was like, oh, that was this big weight off my shoulder, like big weight just going, wow, okay, now I kind of understand about like me kind of healing little things for myself, but they're actually stuff that, maybe my mum's gone through. And then, and that was unbelievable. Like I didn't get to go and see her village, which I'm hoping to go to at some stage, but that was a massive healing moment for me. And then I know that I'll have stuff that my dad's that I need to do, but it's it sort of comes and it goes. But probably with the healing and the spiritual side of stuff's really amped up in the last 2 or 3 years for me. Yeah. Because I've gone on some personal stuff. Like I've gone through some personal stuff. I've given up the drinking and that's kind of been a real eye opener for me, because that's been something that's really, without even knowing
was that your escape?
Yes. Well, it was escape, but then also to fitting in.
Yeah.
It's like, like, so it was kind of like when I was younger, because I felt all those things, and then, then when you go to a party and then you have a drink, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, okay, I fit in again. So I guess that was like how I thought that I could easily just kind of blend in. And then I just know that, I didn't know, but I had so many signs throughout my life that those were not the way, that those sort of things were not helping me at all. And so probably in the last 2 or 3 years, I've been able to kind of clear all that away, understand why I went to those sort of things to try to fit in or try to escape. There's a lot of those escaping or fitting in, and then now I'm kind of I feel comfortable in my skin, and I guess that's now I'm starting to see all those sort of behaviours, and I'm just trying to fix all those sort of things.
Pretty cool to have a moment in time as you've progressed through life that now you can instill some of those lessons that you've now learned about yourself.
Yeah, I think when you touch on something and it kind of brings something up.
Yeah,
in you,
that's what we're all about. Shaped. But I assume it's even helped with maybe some of the got two kids, 19 and 22.
Yes,
Isabella and Axel. It must help with some of the conversations, because I assume they're on a journey now as to where you were in the early days of your professional playing career.
Yeah.
Where you were making decisions where it was like, well, I need to do this because that's how you belong.
Yeah, yes.
Whereas now it's like, well, you get to choose, and ultimately whatever decision you make, that you're going to have consequences either way.
Yes.
Has it helped with understanding kids of today by unpacking a little bit of your own stuff that you've gone through?
Yeah, 100%. Like 100%. And I guess too, it's...
do you share that journey that you've been on with your kids?
Yeah. Yeah.
And has that changed over the last 5 or 6 years as they kind of go into adulthood more for the rest of their life?
Yeah. Well, it's, my relationships changed completely because, like, I think that they've seen like me being at my most vulnerable stage, and probably at my work, like my rock bottom. You would have.
And
to
is
say.
that the sort of 3 or 4 years ago where you started to make some of those decisions?
I think probably
I mean,
yes, yeah, but it was
You also went through divorce, which is a significant moment in time.
the thing that when that all happened, like when I was going through a divorce, my career was ending, so I'd just been told that I wasn't going to be playing anymore. Then my marriage was, going through separation and divorce, and then my kids were moving up north to Queensland. So that was all happening at once. Like, so it was when they say things come in three, it certainly did. And it really,
as well,
and it really just knocked me. And I think I was just on fight or flight, kind of this fight or flight mentality. But I think I've been on that pretty much my whole life. But that kind of just really threw me. And then I was just trying to find my way, and like it just felt like for 2 or 3 years there, I didn't know what was going on. Like I wasn't present at all. I was just, a lot of things were just being, I was just making decisions that were off the cusp, real emotional, no real thought behind it. And when you're in that kind of fight or flight kind of living, you don't realize the effect that you're having on your relationships, and especially too, it was really affecting my relationship with my kids. And probably once I kind of, I bet I've hit a lot of rock bottoms that I feel like, that's a quick fix. Or I always went to the quick fixes, and they never really seemed to work. But then, once I kind of like separated from the drink and really focused on kind of understanding myself, and then I've just seen my relationship with my kids just incredible, incredible. They're asking me for some relationship advice, and I'm the worst person. I was the worst person, to ask, but I've learned a lot.
So take us into that. You've obviously had your own experiences up until this point. You're in a relationship now.
Yeah.
What are the kind of lessons that you've learned along your journey that now your kids are asking you about? Like what is the key to a healthy relationship in your opinion?
Wow. I mean, I'm still learning that in this relationship I'm in now. Like, I mean, I would probably say it's if you've got to have a good understanding, you and your partner have got to have a great understanding, I think. And I feel like the relationship I'm in now is that, like, I felt like she's done a lot of work on herself. And which is great, because then she can actually see that maybe in certain situations that Archie needs to probably have a bit of time out. Before it would be I would run. Like my relationship, my past relationships, when things got a bit tough, or I'm out. Yeah, I'd run, but I'd run in anything.
I think that's most
No,
males.
100%. I would run. Like, but I would run in anything. If everything got hard, I would run, or I would escape. That was had been my way of dealing, with everything. And I think my relationship before this one, like, I would try to stay, but it was just, I couldn't. But there was dynamics that weren't great that, I wish that had been sorted, but they kind of didn't. But this one now, like, I feel like that I'm lucky because we understand each other. We're very, very, very similar in our journeys. So she can understand when I'm feeling a little bit. I can understand her, and we give each other the space to be able to kind of deal with those, as long as we come back and try and sort it out. So I think it's just to be able to pause for a moment. Because I've never been able to pause. I'm like, I'm 0 to 100. Like, I get so, like, fired up. It's unbelievable. But now I feel like that I'm definitely paused when maybe a bit agitated,
Yeah.
or something's triggered something in me, and I can kind of just pause. So I think that's something that I've been able to teach my kids, is that just to maybe take a moment to not
Let the
think
emotion
about,
almost pass,
yeah,
and then make decisions.
yeah,
based on it.
and think about both situations. Like, I think that's my past has always been about me. Like, what I.
Do you think that comes from being a professional athlete? I know in my own experience, there is an element that you have to be somewhat selfish to get the best out of yourself.
Yeah, no, that's it.
But did you find the transition from being a professional, and I think you said before that you were pretty much told that you would no longer be playing, you didn't really decide that you've had enough? I assume it seems like you're the type of personality to just be like, I just want to play forever.
Yeah. What was the question?
Oh, I was getting to
sorry.
it.
I just cut in there.
Did you know, even though it was hard to hear, that there was no contract for you or whatever it was, it seemed like you weren't ready to hear that, but maybe there was a party that did know that, I'm getting older and maybe I'm not quite able to keep up with the young crop?
Yeah, it probably didn't sink in till, I would even say, a year or even 2 years.
Yeah.
Like, I think I was sitting in that for a while, actually. But when on reflection and when I look at it, the decision was the right decision. Like, it was, and to be fair, they actually, the club, when I'm talking about I would say Melbourne Victory, they actually looked after me, to be honest, because some of the destructive behaviours that I was, in at the time, like my professionalism wasn't there. I was cutting training, and I wasn't turning up. I was like, I just didn't see it. Like, I couldn't see it.
You're in it.
Yeah, I'm in it. So I couldn't see it. But then when I step back, it's like they actually looked after me, because if I feel like if they had kept me on there, I was no good to myself. It wouldn't have been too long before I would have just ruined everything.
Yeah.
And also too, I wouldn't have been good for the people and the players that were there. Like, and probably if I look back, there's probably times where I didn't help a lot of those younger guys with my behaviours and the way that I was showing up as a husband, as a father, and showing these guys, like the younger guys. I know, I wish that I could go back and go, okay, this is probably the way that, you respect yourself, you respect your teammates, you respect women, you respect your wife, you respect your kids, like everything.
Yeah.
It's only now that I get the opportunity to do that, and that's why I'm having the relationships I am having with my kids now, and it's funny because my daughter's very spiritual, and she actually said to me, she even said to my partner now, it's like, you know what, I'm so glad that my dad is being authentic. Like, I can finally see, like, probably had glimpses of it.
That must make you feel warm and fuzzy inside, but then there must be a party that goes, golly, how long was I not authentic for? Or you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I think, and there's still a lot of guilt and shame about the times that because like, I love my kids. Like, like
I can see how you light up when you talk about them. I know Isabella.
Yeah, and Axel
recently has opened to Benson Boone.
Yeah, Benson Boone.
She's
a superstar. My son started his own clothing label with another mate. So they're
what's that called?
Carmen.
Nice.
And I rep his shirts and I rep his hat. That's cool. I actually was at her concert at Festival Hall, wearing my son's clothes. So I mean, like, I actually said to him, I have a group chat with him, I said, I'm so super proud of you guys. But I'm trying to make up for the times that, and a lot of the time, there was a lot of time that I wasn't present, Dad. There was, like, I wanted to do things where I should have been, like, trying to spend more time or quality time with my kids, because, like, you've got kids, they grow up so quick.
Oh, they do.
And you miss it. Like, you missed it. And there's still times that, and I feel guilty about it. And sometimes I almost punish myself, like, because I go back into that, and because it's almost like big part of my life's been self-sabotage, but you want to go back and keep hurting yourself because you feel like that you need to do that to kind of, with the times that you miss, like you're punishing yourself. But, like I said, my relationship now is just incredible. And to hear my daughter say those things is just, that's where the healing is in that too. Like, it's incredible. My son too is, he actually said it to my partner. He goes, how much he's changed. Like, he's changed a lot, which is beautiful, because I have.
And you've worked hard on it,
yeah,
right?
worked hard on it, because, in that world, the sporting world, your ego is just massaged unbelievably. And then, you get lost, I think, it still comes back, I think now when I go to games and I see the fans, and it comes from a different place. But yeah, it's incredible.
And you don't need that love from the fans to be worthy.
Yeah. And I think
has that been part of the journey for you?
100%. I like it, because we all, I think, in some respect, need validation in some way. I needed it. I needed it. Like, I think because my self-esteem was so low. And I thought it's funny when someone says something, what is it? Because, I'm trying to think what it is. There's something to do with, low self-esteem. I can't think of it, but it might, it will, because it's a great little saying. It's, it's gonna hit me.
We've gone pretty deep quickly.
Yeah.
I do want to touch on your professional career, because it was an amazing career. The thing that jumps out at me is, I mean, in AFL terms, 13 goals is still an amazing achievement.
Yeah.
But in football or soccer, that's a phenomenal return. 31-0 was the score.
Yeah, 31.
You kicked 13 of the goals.
Yeah.
That's the highest record.
Yes, still is, yeah.
Do you reckon it'll ever get beaten?
Well, it's over 20 years now. It'll be close to 25 years actually next year. And it hasn't come. No one's come close.
Yeah, well, I can imagine why. Because it's a pretty good record.
Yeah, it's
3 championships with Melbourne Victory.
Yeah.
Represented Australia on multiple occasions. World Cup qualifiers. There is apparently a funny story. What happened in the 2006 match against Japan? Something after the match.
After the match. Yeah, well. Wow, we're just on such a high, I think, and it was funny. It was a funny time because we didn't get to. We weren't. These days you have the internet and you're able to see what's going on pretty much at a click of the fingers. And back then it wasn't like that. It was like if you had to get on, you had to buffer, you had to go on the internet. It was just like
dial up.
Yeah. So that we didn't get we couldn't see what was going on back home. But after that Japan game, first game of the World Cup, to win the game like we did, and we're a very, very close team. And me and Luke Wilkshire and Timmy Cale were very close too, and we all were very close. And to kind of, I guess, bring down the adrenaline that we were all on, we had a couple of steel knocks, if this is the story you're talking about. Sometimes when you have steel knocks, like that's a sleeping pill, you try to stay awake. you go against what the actual doctor's trying to tell you. You go with,
and become somewhat delirious.
Yeah. And so we were playing a game of hearts, and I don't even know how it all got started, but I couldn't play hearts to save myself, but they were really good at it. They could have told me anything, and I would have and they just sort of said, if you lost hearts, you had to strip down and run around the compound naked. And I lost. Yeah, but I didn't even know I lost. But anyway, so I got naked and ran around the compound, and they locked the door, so I couldn't get in. And this big German security guy came around the side, and he's like, what's going on? They threw down a teddy bear, and like it was, and I was just stuck outside. And but we've had so many moments like that with the Socceroos. It's a real brotherhood. I don't know what there is in AFL. Terms when it comes like with representative football, but when you represent your country for soccer, football, for me, and you ask a lot of probably like especially the Australian ones, representing your country was probably like the pinnacle of it. Like so. That there's been so many amazing stories like that, and like that, and ones I can't tell you.
I'm sure there's plenty of them.
Yeah. You would probably know that too.
Through your professional career, was there one person that you always knew you could lean on that would be your go-to, whether you were up, down, or in between?
Yeah, I probably had a few of those, to be honest. Like one in particular, like my sister's husband who passed away. So he passed away, and he was someone I could always call on, or he would call me, and I could just kind of offload whatever was happening. I've got a few of those guys, but he's the one that is coming to my mind. Yeah. And like, so he was amazing. And once that was kind of lost, that was really hard, but I guess there's been some really close friends that, your world becomes very, very small after you retire. And it's good. I think you just kind of, you just find your crew. And I probably would only have two or three that I even through my career that I kind of
truly lean on.
Yeah, truly lean on.
With anything.
With absolutely anything. Yeah. I could tell them anything. And there'd be no judgment, and that'd be great. My brother-in-law was really great for that. I've got only a couple of friends that I still to this day would go, this is happening, or what are your thoughts? And I could get the answer.
Is it true that throughout your time there's been moments where you've realised someone isn't necessarily a good influence on you, and you've had to either have a conversation with them or move on from that relationship entirely?
Yeah, I've had loads of those. Yeah. But then I think...
How hard is it to... Like, I assume sometimes you can just go silent, right? And you break down. But if there's someone who is part of your tight-knit group, but you know that they're not bringing the best out in you, that's hard, right? Yeah. It's hard.
I mean, I hate confrontation. So if I just try to kind of separate myself and go quiet and maybe just and they probably feel that I'm not kind of engaged in that. But it's such a hard thing. But I think you find people when you're in. You find the people that you need at that time. And I think maybe people that were not good for me, I needed them at that time because I needed to escape. Yeah. So I used them just as much as they were probably using me. And when you're in, and I find that the space I'm in now, I attract the people that need me, that I need to kind of elevate me. Yeah. And my world is very, very, very small. And I'm happy with that.
And it continues to get smaller, you think, as you progress?
Yeah. I mean, like my girlfriend now, like it's really just us, and we love each other's space, like our own little kind of thing. And we might duck out here and there, but I love to be just kind of.
I'm hearing you.
Yeah,
I can definitely relate to that.
I mean, like going to these events, and I don't like to kind of do it. I mean, when I'm there and I'm like, and I see the people that I know, and that I'm cool, but I can't wait to get out. Yeah, it's like it's not that world's bit. Maybe there was a time when I loved it, but not so much now.
Growing up.
Yeah, that's the word.
The transition is a challenge that we've spoken to all of our guests. Some have spoken of it requiring 4, 5, 6 years to really work out what you want to do. Have you found now what you love doing, being in the media? I know that initially, and I think you've made comment around this, that you now realise that you don't have to be something that you're not. You can just be you.
Yes.
At what point does that happen for you in your career?
Wow, I think...
Or is it just coincide with the journey you've been on from a personal point of view, and then you go, who am I kidding? Like,
Yeah. Well, I think it's just that I once I started to I mean, when I first finished football and then I was given the opportunity, and I'm very grateful for the opportunity, because not many people, maybe more so with the footy and the AFL and the rugby because of the sport and how popular it is, but there's not many for soccer players, like to go into that world. So I was very grateful to have that opportunity. And to be fair, the kind of the state that I was in and the mindset, I just thought that I could just turn up and just do it. Like, you know, because I know the game, and without like watching any games, I just can like go off the cuff. And I got caught out like lots of times, but it just took me a while to kind of go, understand that I really like this and I want to be good at it. And you know, you read some of the comments and you go, oh man, yeah, they're still slaying me, but it's true, because I wasn't doing the work. I wasn't, you know, I was cutting corners, and I used to be that person that I really like, as much as I wasn't professional, but sometimes when I was on a training pitch, I trained like I was going to play. Like there was no, I was very disciplined in that. Like I worked hard when I was on there.
Yeah.
So once I kind of go, okay, I could really have a good career in this. And I love it. There's something about being in front of the camera that I get this excitement about. And so that's when I thought, okay, well, I'm going to give it a real go. So that's when I kind of fell in love with it, and then found out like I didn't need to be like the other guys, like the ones that were so well spoken, the way they articulate things. I think I tried to do that and it just didn't work. I mean, you know, this is a kid that used to wag school, was never at school, didn't finish school. So I just kind of was just working on the things that I had, my strengths.
Yeah.
And I was going to fuck up. Like I was going to stop up. That's just who I am.
Reality,
yeah, that's the reality. And and I think once I just kind of accepted that you know, I'm not going to say things that come out the way that you know, maybe people think they should, and people accept that. Like, you know, they accepted it. And now I think because I was always that jokester. Like I always just was that jokester, but I wanted to be more than that. And I wanted people to see me like, wow, I really like what he's saying there. And not just in sport, but in anything. And and that's where I've kind of feel like I've found a really nice sweet spot where I've got that nice balance. Like I can still have fun, but
your personality shines through, but
yes,
you also have the depth and knowledge of why you were such a good player.
Yeah. And those things. And, you know, it's opened up doors to other things. I took a cameraman over. We talked about Papua New Guinea. I took a cameraman over there to like document that whole experience for me going back, and that was amazing. And then you know, I've done Formula One for the last 2 seasons. I'm doing it again this year. I did the Spring Carnival. So I think it's shown me that you know, if I really put my mind to something, I can very much attract whatever I feel like I want.
Yeah.
I mean, I did it with the football, because there was a stage when I was young that I was going down a path like that. And it happened to be that I was in a courtroom with my mum, and she was so upset with that. And I just told her, like, Mum, no, I'm going to turn it around. You're going to be so proud of me. And once I really put my mind at something, it's, like usually the universe brings it to me if it's what I'm meant to have at that time.
You touched on wagging school.
Yes.
I know you also worked in an abattoir.
Yes. Yeah.
Which I've never worked in one,
Yeah.
nor can I stand the smell.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
But I can imagine it's like, yeah, you may have been the jokester and you were taking the piss in the later stages of your career, but you did just mention that you're a hard worker. And when you're on the training track, it's all or nothing,
Yeah.
same on the playing deck. Did moments like that in your jobs and the moment in the court with your mum, were they defining moments for you to go, well, if I'm going to get anywhere I want to go, these are the kind of attitudes or values that I need to bring?
Yeah, because well, I mean, when I went to court, I told my mum I'm gonna do whatever it takes.
What were you in court for?
Oh, yeah, I'll keep that quiet.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll keep that quiet.
That's fine.
Yeah, well, it wasn't good. I
was just intrigued.
Yeah. Well, I got 30 hours community service. So it wasn't good,
But again, a moment where you've made a decision.
Yeah.
There's a consequence, but then you get to decide how you react to that.
Yes, exactly.
And that's where you said to your mum,
yeah,
I'm going to make something.
I'm gonna yes, exactly that. And then whatever it took. So that's when I was with mates of mine that were probably doing the things that you shouldn't have been doing, or if you want to go somewhere if you stay with that, and that's where you have to kind of go, okay, well, I'm going to have to cut those people. And the way that I did it probably wasn't great because they were beautiful friends of mine, and they would do anything for me. But I knew that I couldn't have them in my life if I was to do. And I was making that decision at 16, So I cut there, and my first job was in a Chinese restaurant as a kitchen hand, and
Do you still cook good Chinese
no,
food?
no.
What's your favourite Chinese dish?
Oh gosh, I think at the time it was sweet and sour pork. Actually, it couldn't go past. Sweet and sour pork, and I could make it. I could make fried rice. I could do all that sort of stuff. But that was a job I needed to do at the time because it allowed me to play. Well, it was sort of to get me going, and then I needed to change that job because the hours that I was working, I couldn't play. So and the job that popped up was working at an abattoir. So I worked in an abattoir for 6-7 months, and I was in the shit room. So like they would kill the cow, and the stomach would come down to my room, and I'd wash the shit out of it.
I've seen a couple.
Yeah.
Be cut up.
Yes. So I would cut and drain out the shit and I did that for 6-7 months. But I needed to do that because of the hours that I worked, and it was the money. It was giving me the money to be able to do it.
I know in the AFL, and I'm sure it's the same in many sports. I got drafted as a 17-year-old, hadn't really had an opportunity to go and work given school. Yeah. I know that there's some NRL teams that actually make their draftees go and work for a few weeks before they actually come into the training. Do you think it gave you an appreciation once you got to the highest level where you were like, I can either do this, love this, work my ringer off, or I can go back to pulling crap out of a cow?
Yeah, 100%. 100% it helped me because there was this gratitude just to get the opportunity, so once the opportunity presented, I wasn't going to let it go. And I think it's a different time now. Kids come into
the program and the pathways are all set up for them to have a better
100%. So they can go through an academy and they can be it's hard work still. Don't get me wrong, and the kids have to work hard, and there's an element of luck. But they don't understand what it is to work in a job like that. And you're right, NRL, I think Storm do it where they go, okay, do you want this?
Or you can have that.
Or you can have that. And, most of I think 100% say that, So I think it gave me a real appreciation of that I can't take this for granted. And so I was, even when I wasn't training, I was training. It's it was crazy. But it helped me. It really helped me. And it kept me, it kept me really just in a space of gratitude and appreciation that I'm in this because, of the hard work, but it can be taken away. So, I don't want to let it go.
One thing we love to ask our guests is if you could go back to your 14, 16-year-old self and give yourself one piece of advice, what would it be?
Yeah, I think probably just to be kind to yourself. that would probably be my message to my younger self. I actually did some inner child work.
Yep.
So I've done a lot of that sort of, because you're still healing the child, the inner child. So I think mine would be just to be kind. Just be kind to yourself.
And to others.
And to others, 100%. Well, that's something
you actually can't be kind, I don't think, unless you're truly kind to yourself.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. And I think that's kind of the journey that I've been on in the last couple of years, is that, like, that you're so wanting to right all the wrongs that you've kind of maybe caused other people, but then you forget yourself.
Yeah.
Like, you forget yourself, and like you say, you truly can't love deeply others if you don't really love yourself as deep as, like. And I've I can honestly say that I'm in that position now. I think most of my career I've almost felt like a fraud because a lot of the times when I was saying to kids, don't do this, don't do that, I was doing that. Like, I did everything that I was saying not to do. And so, like, and I felt like pretty much a fraud. Now I'm like, okay, I'm living the
It's so nice
self.
to hear an alpha male say that you truly love yourself.
Like,
it's something that a lot of people would have trouble saying, and it shows to the work that you've been putting in yourself as well.
It's I
Do you think you could have said that 10 years ago, sitting here?
No.
Yeah.
No, not at all. Because I think I'm living a more truthful life. Like, I think, so, like, maybe back then I couldn't, because of the life that I was living.
Do you think that's partly just the journey you've been on personally, but also partly the world that professional athletes live in? Like, what percentage of athletes now do you think live in a world where it's like, my happiness depends on whether I'm winning or losing?
Well, like now, like I think my whole career was like dependent on that.
Of the athletes now playing?
Yeah.
If you had to put a percentage on it, do you recken it'd be,
I don't know,
50, 60, 70%?
Hopefully it's changed. I still hear like athletes talk about, like, how they're so disappointed. You can be disappointed. I mean, you want to win. I mean, you got to. But I think it's like they're so dependent on it. It's when I hear that the only way they're going to be happy if they win. That's you got to find a nice kind of a balance. But if you're dependent on your happiness from winning a game of sport, I think you've got it wrong. Yeah.
All right. Well, to finish on that note, how do you define success now? Like, what is success to you in your world?
Peace.
Peace.
Peace is success for me.
In yourself, but then with others around you.
Peace with myself, peace with others. That's
beautiful.
Yeah, that's my success. Yeah, because I know I've had to work so hard to get to that point. Yeah, because your head is just freaking a million miles an hour with absolutely everything. But I'm kind of now at a place where at peace. Success for me is peace.
Beautiful. Well, on that note, I
don't even know what I said. I think I jumped
it was beautiful. It was I think we got into the deep stuff very quickly, which I appreciate, and I know that people listening will get a lot out of. It's part of your story that I haven't really heard you talk about. So thank you for being so open and honest.
Well, what I can,
absolutely.
I mean, I'd love to tell you what I was actually caught for.
No, but I think for me, there was so many little moments in your journey, and I think you should be really, really proud of the journey you've been on. Like the decisions you've made, and I don't know you all that well, over the last 4 or 5 years are big decisions that a lot of people have trouble making. And I think by you sharing your story with regards to, giving up the grog or finding the spiritual part of yourself or going on a journey of just exploration and being curious about what this means for me, really does help other people go, oh, if it's okay for him, it's got to be okay for me. And I'm just going to dip my toe in, because I feel like I've gone on a similar journey, maybe in different ways or for different reasons, but what I learned was once you dip your toe in and get a taste of it and you realize how good it feels, it really does start to enlighten you and make you want to do more and more and more.
Yeah.
Shit's scary.
Yeah.
But also really fulfilling. So
100%.
A couple of things for me that I took away. Number one, just to be kind to yourself. I think we're all so critical of ourselves, and it's very hard to, one of my favorite things to do is actually write a love letter to yourself about all the things that you're really proud of what you're doing.
Yeah.
The trust in relationships, but also then having the courage to let go of the people that don't serve you or don't serve the right purpose in your life. And one of my favorite sayings is people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lifetime.
Yeah.
And as you said, that there's only a very small circle that are there for you for the lifetime. So I appreciate you sharing that. And just the hard work, like having appreciation, but also having the acceptance and then making a commitment and sticking true was something that was fundamentally helped you become successful in your professional career. But I think also with your more recent goals and ambitions, it's certainly helping you stay on your true north. So Archie, it's been amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm sure people will absolutely love listening to one of their favourite Australian football soccer characters speak openly about their life.
Yeah. Cheers, brother. Thank you.